Sometimes you end up in a situation where you need to create a meeting, an appointment, or a poll in someone else's calendar or for someone else, whether it is because you're an assistant sitting in the customer service center or for some other reason. No matter the reason, doing so in OnTime is very easy if you have the rights to do it. If I have to work in a single user's calendar, the easiest way to get an overview of it is to use the switch up here to get to the single person view. In here, I can have different users on the left, which allows me to quickly switch around between them. I can add people by clicking on the pencil and then just adding their name in here. I can also choose to sort them manually to have the calendars I work with the most in the top. When using the single user view, I have a much better overview and can easily grasp all the calendar information. If I have editing rights, I can drag and drop in the calendar to make appointments or meetings, but I can actually also do something else. If I have editing rights in someone's calendar, I can go over here to the notices. When I'm working in a person's calendar, it will also be their notices that appears here. I can then go in and reply to the notices saying if they can make it or not. I fill out this accept notification and click OK. Now the meeting will appear in the user's calendar with the details I might have added to the notification. If I'm just creating an appointment in someone's calendar, I could also just locate them in the calendar, and if I have the rights on them, I can just drag and drop in their calendar. This opens up an appointment where I can then just fill out the details like I normally can in an event, with details like a subject, category, and a description. Furthermore, I can also choose to notify the person that I have created an event in their calendar. This could be if I was sitting in the customer service center and wanted to let the person know that they had a new support appointment in their calendar, for example. When I save it, I can see that the appointment appears immediately in the calendar. If I have to create the same appointment in several people's calendar, I can do that by selecting the people and dragging and dropping in the calendar, like I would if it was a meeting. I then go up and change the type of event from meeting to multiple appointments, and remove myself from the calendar for a box. This way, I book the same thing in a number of people's calendar, but without linking the events together. I can also create a meeting on behalf of someone else. I can choose the people who are going to attend this meeting, and if I use the meeting assistant column, I can deselect myself so that my schedule isn't taken into consideration. Then I find a time in the calendar where the meeting is going to take place and drag and drop on the time frame. Now I'm creating a meeting, but I'm creating it in my calendar, which will make me the person who is inviting others. So what I can do is I can take whoever I want to be the person inviting, remove them for the required box, and replace me with that person in the calendar for box instead. This way, the meeting won't appear in my calendar and I won't look like one of the people attending the meeting. Now the meeting details just have to be filled out completely as I would do on a regular meeting, where I write a subject, I can book a room. In this case, I'm going to go with a room in Copenhagen. I can choose to put the meeting in a category if I want, and then lastly, I could write a description about the meeting agenda, just to let everyone know what the meeting will be about. And I can then just make it look a little nicer. I could also add more invitees to the meeting or notify the host, in this case Beverly, that I have created a meeting on behalf of her. When I'm done filling out the details of the meeting, I can just click send. Now the meeting will appear in all the invitees' calendars. It is colored in Beverly's calendar since she's the host of the meeting, while the others have it as a gray area, which means that they have received a meeting invite which they haven't replied to yet. If I'm not able to find a time for the meeting to happen, another thing I can do on behalf of someone else is create a meeting poll. You do this by going to the single person view and then choosing the person you're creating the poll on behalf of out here amongst the users. When you're viewing their calendar, you can go down to the polarity area and click on the little plus. Now I can fill out the details of the poll. This is going to be a poll for an administrative meeting, and in the description I could write the agenda for the meeting. On the right side, I can now see that I am the poll manager, even though I'm not on the list of invitees down here. I can set the duration of the meeting. In this case, it's going to be 1.5 hours. The location for the meeting is going to be Copenhagen, which means the time zone is correct. I can set a vote before date, which lets people know when they should have responded before, and if they don't vote, I can always send the non-responders a reminder to vote. Next is the email language. It is currently English since that is the language I'm using in OnTime, but if I click on it, I can get all of the other language options, or I can customize my own email. I would just have to write a subject and a message, and then the poll link will be underneath along with my email signature, but for now I'll just go with the standard email in English. The second part of the poll is adding invitees and time slots. I add the invitees down here. It could be either internal invitees, in which case I just need their name, or it could be external invitees, which I add by their email address and then writing their name. If I have a number of external people that should vote in the poll, I can copy and paste them in from a comma-separated list. I can always add more invitees later, so for now I am going to move on to the time slots. Here I have the calendar data from the internal invitees, making it much more likely that the time slots I choose will actually work out. When I'm done with this, I can just send it out for the invitees to vote on. I can also go back into the poll and edit it later if I need to add more people or change the time slots. Lastly, I can also go in and respond to polls sent to Beverly. I get an overview of her calendar, and based on that, I can make a decision on whether or not she's available that day. Looking at one person's calendar in different views to get an overview is, like many of the other features and functions, something that can also be done from OnTime Mobile, which allows you to stay connected while on the go. All of this makes it very easy to work on behalf of others in OnTime while being able to do it directly from your own calendar, which is useful in many situations, whether it's because you're a personal assistant sitting in the customer service center and booking people from a central place, or something completely different.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and visit our YouTube channel for more videos like it. You can also visit our website for more information and to try it out yourself.